Episode number 14 of Pokemon Horizons, and my thoughts are kind of all over the place. But one thing I will say is I do want to sing the high praises of the show. And the reason for that is I think, and I'm going to make sure that I preface this with saying that in no way, shape, or form, somebody who didn't do this, there is a chance and a strong chance for them to have really high enjoyment of the show. But with that being said, I really think that the thing that Pokemon Horizons does and excels at, to me, versus any other past show, right? If I think about Sun and Moon, or I think about Pokemon Journeys, right? And I think about their adventures in Galar or in Alola, or the past adventures that Ash has had in multiple regions. One of the things that I never felt connected with was the way of which my playing the game really, blended in to the show. And I think the one thing with Pokemon Horizons is, like, if you play through Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, like, the amount of things that you get from this is immeasurable. And I think that's what's so cool, right? From seeing Paldea as a region, to seeing the school, to seeing the different areas. Next week, we're going to get introduced to Ayano, my favorite gym leader in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. She's awesome and crazy and outlandish, and I can't wait till Liko meets her, right? So I just feel like from seeing, the towers to the new Pokemon that were introduced, I just haven't felt this connected from one experience to another as I have with Pokemon Horizons. And again, I don't know if that's because it's a brand new character, along with a new region, along with all these things, but like even seeing terastallization manifest this episode with Freed terastallizing his Charizard into a dark type, I was like, that's how terastallization looks in the anime and stuff. And I just didn't have that same feeling. Like, if I think back with Pokemon Journeys with Gigantamaxing, and when they Gigantamax the Pikachu, or when they Gigantamax the Snorlax and stuff, although I was like, oh, that's cool to see that come to fruition, I just didn't feel as connected to it. Even though I had just gotten done playing Sword and Shield, I just didn't feel as connected to it. And I think the other reason for that is when Journeys happened, although I had just gotten done playing Sword and Shield, I had already, gotten past. It had already been, I think, like a year or something like that. It had already been like a while from Sword and Shield. Like, it wasn't as seamless of a transition. So I don't really know. Maybe that's not it. I don't know. But I just feel so connected to this anime and everything that I see in the world. Even like Roy teaching his Wattrel, I was like, oh, it makes sense that their electricity conducts, like their wings conduct electricity, and that's what allows them to smoothly fly and stuff. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. So seeing these things play out, I just feel so much more connected to him. Now, I will tell you straight up, I played through Scarlet and Violet twice. I have 2 different saves on 2 different Switches. I made content for them on my gaming channel constantly. I still make content today on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, so maybe I just feel more connected to those games. But I put as more hours probably in Sword and Shield, so I don't really know what it is, but I'm just telling you, I feel so connected to this anime, and I think that's what really makes it special. That's what really stands out. Now, with episode number 14, again, we started off the episode with Dot, and wondering if Liko's ever going to figure out that she's grooming, or if you guys saw my post in our community tab, I posted the first look at the dub of the English version of Pokemon Horizons, and Liko's voice actor is really spot on. I cannot wait to hear the dub and watch this again with my kids. But the thing that I found so funny is in this show, she's called Gudamin, right? And And in the English version of this, she's called Nidothing. So not like Nidoqueen or Nidoking, Nidothing. And I was like, oh my God, it's such a level of cheese that I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna call her that from now on. So Liko couldn't figure out that, Dot is Nidothing still. Murdoch ends up taking Liko out to thank her for the picnic that she did with everybody, and that got Dot really excited for it and motivated everything else. I thought that was really cool. We see this episode. We see Roy finally catching his first Pokemon. I kind of called it, but we have he's like we have the very Ash thing of you can't just catch a Pokemon like you should if you want to. No, you gotta befriend it and become BFFs and create little wrist charms with them, and then maybe they want to be your friend. That's the whole thing that happened here. I think this one was more smoothly done. I think the Wattrell thing made sense. He decides to peace out. He's like, oh man, sucks to leave that Pokemon, but hey, it needs to be with his friends. Wattrell's like, nah, Roy, don't go, bro. And flies towards it. He saves it by catching it in a Pokemon that Murdoch gave him, or a Pokeball that Murdoch gave him, and he saves it from doom, essentially falling into the water, and he gets a new friend and a first Pokemon that he captured himself in Wattrell. So I thought that was cool. I was really hoping that Liko would be the first one to catch a secondary Pokemon, but it was Roy. And then at the end of the episode, we saw that Liko got duped by the bad guy that Freed fought this episode with his terrestrialization stuff. He caught her no problem. He used his Pokemon and hypnotized her and jacked her pendant. And then, like I said, the end of the episode, we saw the end of the episode with what do you say? We saw the end of the episode with a preview for next week that shows that they're going to be meeting Ayano. So it looks like they're going to be heading towards Lavencia, which is unarguably, I'll say, the absolute best town city in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So I cannot wait. So let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments below. But I think episode 14 was bomb. Absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to see more. I think that this episode, although I would still categorize it as filler a little bit, there was still enough here that moved the story along that I think that this could be categorized as a normal episode. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I think it's a little bit filler, but then it had story. So I guess it's just a normal episode. I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. I'll see you guys next week for episode 15. Let's go.